How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here, back for your Friday commentary. Just in case you missed any previous videos, I'm going to link my latest videos in the description if for some reason you haven't seen them. There's some James Bond, some Ultimate Team, some Pro Clubs. Machinima Sports posted my first episode of FIFATUBE, so you should go check that out and leave some love on it. But the thing I want to talk about today is something that's been playing on my mind for the past week. I've been thinking a lot about my mum the past week, and you know, she was a real character, and she gave me a lot of advice. She was a very supportive woman. She was my rock, and she gave me all the things that I needed to get through the days. And one thing I was contemplating, I was like, God, what I would give to have just one more conversation with her, and anyone else that is no longer with us that I would love to have a conversation with. I would give all my possessions, I would give all attempts at future happiness just to have one more conversation with her. And the question I had to ask myself is, what would I ask? What would I talk about? You wonder, what can you say? It almost makes you think, is there something after? Is there a life after death? And I'm not a particularly religious man, but I secretly do hope that somehow they can still see us, and they can still hear us, and they know what's going on. My common sense says no, that's not real, but a secret part of me secretly hopes that it isn't, that I'm completely wrong. And if you are a religious person, you believe in these things, I'm not saying you have to accept what I'm saying. Feel free to state your opinion. No one really has to take your opinion seriously. And that's another thing I should probably emphasize. You don't have to take anyone's opinion seriously. You don't have to take my opinion seriously. I just like to chuck my thoughts out there, and I like to bounce off you guys and see what you say. And I'll respect anyone's opinion. No matter how far-fetched and crazy it is, I have no problem with someone has opinion, as long as they maintain it as their opinion, and they're not trying to force opinions onto other people without them wanting them. And they're not trying to diminish or degrade other people's opinions. But the question is, what would you say? How would you go about that task? I think I would just, tell them obviously I love them, but how would you also go about making a conversation in that position? Would you ask them what you think of how your future's going? Would you ask them what you should do with your future? I mean, my mum had great advice, and when she didn't have great advice, she usually just shouted at the problem until it went away, and it worked a lot of the time, and I do love her for that. It's certainly something that's played on my mind. A friend of mine linked me to an article in the newspaper. It was on I can't remember where it was, but it was online somewhere. It was about this 19-year-old kid who was in the army, and unfortunately he got caught in the line of fire. And he had actually written out his final words, or his final letter to his family, and as a family member, you probably just can't ever really prepare for that. Having the news, and then I don't think I could wrap my head around that kind of thought, that the person that I care about has actually gotten to that point where they thought maybe something could happen here, and I should probably tell them how I feel in case I don't actually get to say it again. But the balls and the courage and determination it must have taken to write out such a letter is truly inspirational, in my opinion. And the things you would include in that letter, what would you say? You tell them how much you love them. You tell them memories that are most fond to you. You tell them all the things that matter to you, and how proud you are to be a part of their life and their family and their being. I don't know. Why don't you guys tell me what you would put in your letter, or how you would have your last conversation with someone? It's certainly something to think about. It should put, so, over the weekend, while you're enjoying yourselves, watching the footy, having a good time, having a bevy, just take a moment to ponder about that kind of thing. And if at some point you realize what you would like to say, feel free to leave it in the comments section, and if you want to go that extra mile, feel free to let them know. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later. Peace out.